Hi guys, it is April from Getting Hookah With It. Today I'm going to share with you everything that I read in April. Let's get into it. So I read 5 books in April and I think this was a pretty good reading month overall. Let's just dive right in. The first is a library book. I hadn't really heard of this until very recently, and it's called Body Love by Kelly LeVeque. And this is about healthy living and like body acceptance and how to nourish your body the right way. It's like very anti-diet, but also interestingly enough, like the things that she recommends that you eat are not quite keto, but they are a bit low in carbs. I have been like mega, pretty depressed for years now because of our infertility. And I have absolutely eaten terribly for my body because I think I was trying to punish my body because I was the one with infertility problems, and I really hated this body of mine because it wasn't giving me a baby. Now that can easily become habit, just eating badly. And I have to say, I don't think I've eaten beautifully throughout my pregnancy at all. I start my mornings off really well, and then it just kind of like throughout the day. So this book, I just wanted to get an idea of what kinds of things would probably be the best thing that I should be eating, even though you know it internally. I just wanted another opinion, and I did enjoy this. I think I gave it 4 stars. I think that will really help me after my pregnancy is over and I have the baby as well, and I'm trying to get even more back into being good to my body because it's gone through a lot in the last while. Next is a fiction book that I finished early in April, and that is This Is How It Always Is by Lori Frankel. And this is about a family who have, the majority of their family are boys. The mom has always wanted a girl. They have a very big family. And she's pregnant with what she believes is going to be her last baby. And she's hoping that it's a girl. And the baby comes out and the baby is not a girl, it's Claude. She loves Claude, but she's always wanted to have a little girl named Poppy. Well, over the course of his very young life, he starts to realize he's much more comfortable dressing as a girl than as a boy. And it's about this family helping him to transition to being a girl, and I thought that was so beautiful. Like, it was very supportive of Claude, and that was really, really nice to read in a book. You don't always get that. I will say there was, the dialogue did frustrate me a lot of the time because it was like the characters would like finish each other's sentences in a Grey's Anatomy, Gilmore Girls kind of way, and that kind of thing I can't stand because it's very unrealistic. As soon as people are way too witty with every single thing that they say, it makes me feel like they are truly characters and not people. And when I read a book, I kind of want to feel like they're people too. That said, some of the wording was so good. There was a part early on that I full out cried. I'm going to read it to you. And this refers to the parents going to the principal's office and the principal giving them pictures that Claude had drawn, and they start to look through it. So it says, she looked through and found Claude in each one. He was wearing a dress, he was wearing a ball gown and 4-inch heels. He had long brown hair or long blonde hair or long purple hair or long rainbow hair. Sometimes he had a tail like a mermaid. Sometimes he had a silver necklace like his mother's. That's not what worried Pen, though, who'd ordered them carefully so Rosie could see the progression. In each picture, Claude seemed to be shrinking. He had a big family, yes, so it was hard to fit everyone on the page. And he was the littlest of them, true, but Claude got smaller and smaller. He was smaller than the smiling dog. He was smaller than the stemless flowers. In one, he had wings and was flying in the sky, and he was smaller than the clouds. In another, he was lying in the garden loomed over by a snail. In some, Rosie couldn't even find him. She had to play Where's Waldo until she located tiny Claude, half a centimeter high, behind the chimney of a house or in the corner of the chimp enclosure at the zoo. Or everyone in his giant family, including Jupiter, including the butterflies, including the house itself, had giant smiles, but Claude's frown was so pronounced it dripped over the edges of his chin like a handlebar mustache. Or everyone else was in full color and Claude had drawn himself in gray, or once worse, white on white. Or everyone was in clothes, hats, scarves, sweaters, costumes, bathing suits, party dresses, and Claude was wearing nothing, not naked, just a stick figure, just an outline, just a sketch. And then soon, Claude was nowhere. Rosie Where's Waldo'd for 15 minutes and failed to find him at all. And I have chills again just thinking of that. Oh my God. So that was Claude when he was really struggling with his identity and feeling like he had to be a boy and must be a boy in order to be accepted, and yet was not accepting himself because he was not a boy. Oh, it was really good. I gave it 4 stars. So yes, there were things in the book that frustrated me, but the message and the writing, like that writing, was great. I wish the dialogue was different, but some of the passages were so powerful that I just loved it. So yeah, this is how it always is. I highly recommend it. Next up is Lying in Wait by Liz Nugent. I really enjoyed this. It's a thriller and I gave it 4 stars. This is about a couple who kill a girl and bury her in their backyard. Now, this couple also has a teenage son, and he starts to suspect that something is going on, and that there was this disappearance of a girl named Annie Doyle, and he starts to suspect that his dad had something to do with it, and he's not so far off. I really enjoyed this book. This is very much a character-driven story, very character-driven thriller, so if you don't like those, you probably wouldn't like Liz Nugent as a whole. I really enjoy those because a lot of the times the thrillers that are written are so heavily plot-based that the characters are flat, and you get full-fleshed characters in here, and I loved it. The mother in here, what? She is a complex woman. Complex and, for me, quite terrifying. I loved it. I so recommend reading basically anything by Liz Nugent. I read 2 of her books now and adored them both. So yes, I think I gave that one 4 stars. Next up is Girl Wash Your Face by Rachel Hollis. This is self-help. So this basically gives her advice on how to live life. That's really what self-help is about. Yes, she can get a little bit on a soapbox, but when you buy a soapbox kind of book and you're yearning to learn from their experiences, I kind of think that you can expect that. And she was really quite anti-judgmental for the most part. There was actually a whole chapter about how women can judge other women for their choices and how we need to stop doing that. And I enjoyed that. There were little bits and pieces that I struggled with. There was a chapter about how we really need to stop making ourselves question why we're far behind other people and we should be farther along. And there's this reference in here to motherhood that I really found problematic. And it's the idea that God has perfect timing. And what I really struggled with was she was applying this to women who were frustrated that they hadn't met the right person yet in their lives. They were single and they wanted to be in a couple. and they hadn't found that person. And there were references to, you know, I haven't had a child yet. So that God has perfect timing thing is not always applicable. It really is actually quite frustrating when someone tells you when you're going through infertility, it'll happen when it's right. There is nothing worse than that, because it's like, actually, we do have biological clocks. Anyone who's trying to say that we don't, as women, are lying. They're actually lying. My biological clock, like, I'm thinking of menopause, like, I'm 38. I'm thinking about it now. And also, for people who are single and trying to find the love of their life, I've been there. Yes, I met Barry when I was like 33, 32 or 33. So that's young. But I wanted children, and there's so much about, you can feel hurried, and wanting that is not a bad thing, and it's understandable, and some of it is incredibly natural. And then to throw on God has perfect timing, just like wait it out and he'll sort it out for you, can sometimes feel like a slap in the face, especially from a woman who had like 3 children, very young, met her husband very young. It's just not the type of advice to give to women in those situations. Yeah, I feel like she needs to listen more to certain women. If she's talking about not being judgmental, she needs to understand that that sentence is judgmental. It is probably not meant to be, but I otherwise, I really enjoyed this book. I just went on a huge rant about it, but I genuinely did enjoy the rest of the book. I think I ended up giving it 4 stars. It might be more like a 3-star, 4-star, I'm not sure. I'll sit with it more, but I did enjoy it, just not fully. Okay, and last up is The Huntress by Kate Quinn. Prepare for more frustrations. So this is about a very evil woman who really tortures people, murders people in Germany. She's part of the Nazi Party. And we're following a group of people who are trying to hunt her down. It's after the war at this point, and they want to bring her to justice. We also follow a young girl in Boston whose dad gets remarried. Her mother has passed away. His dad gets remarried, and she just feels like there's something off about her. And I loved the premise. This happens to me every time with Kate Quinn. I love the premise of the stories. I love that there are going to be badass women in the stories. But what I don't love is they are flat characters. There's absolutely no depth whatsoever to any of the characters. There's also a lot of romance in here, which I don't love. I like it when romance is done very subtly, and there is showing romance, not telling romance. I struggled with the idea that all of the romances in here were so sexually based that there was no actually love involved, and that was like kind of revered and thought of as to be like their true loves were these people that they couldn't keep their hands off of each other. I'm like, isn't that just a fling though? When it's exclusively that, it felt like a fling. There were so many problems in this book. I have decided to stop reading Kate Quinn. I've read both of her books now, and I don't like them. I don't think she's a good writer. Most people love this. Like, go to Goodreads and check out the reviews for this. I think the rating is like 4.32 or something insanely high. I think I'm gonna give this a 2. I think I had given it a 3, but I think it actually deserves a 2 or maybe even a 1. I get really mad. I think, is it weird that I'm kind of deciding that I think I need to be harder on books than I am. Like, I often give a book that was just okay 3 stars, but sometimes they deserve lower, and I don't do that. And I think I'd like to start, because that was a bad book, in my opinion. In my opinion. Okay. We've ended on a rant, and I apologize. But let me know in the comments below if you've read any of these books, what you thought of them. I'm happy to have discussions about The Huntress with you guys if you want to. I know a lot of people loved it. So we can chat about that in the comments below. And also, what was the worst book that you read in April? I'd love to know. I did a little ranting in here, so feel free to share. I will talk with you guys soon. Okay, bye.